Niko Bellic didn't come to Liberty City looking for the American dream. He came there running from a war, from betrayal, and from ghosts that never really left him. And by the time the story is over, you'll realize the guy who felt like a badass criminal in every mission was actually one of the saddest characters Rockstar ever wrote. Let's dig into who Niko Bellic really is. Niko was born in the former Yugoslavia, sometime around 1978, right into a country that was about to tear itself apart. His childhood wasn't soft. His dad was reportedly an abusive alcoholic, and his mother Malika spent most of her life wishing her son could just have something close to a normal upbringing. Niko once told a friend their house didn't even have electricity until he was 12 years old. And here's something that hits different. This hardened killer we control for 30 plus hours once dreamed of becoming an astronaut as a kid. He also had a brother, didn't survive the war, and in a moment that shows exactly who Niko is, underneath all the violence, when his cousin Roman's aunt was murdered, Niko lied to Roman, told him she died in a house fire instead. He carried that truth alone just to protect Roman from the pain. That's Niko in one sentence, a man who's seen horrific things, but still tries to shield the people he loves from the worst of it. Now here's where things get dark. The Yugoslav wars didn't just happen around Niko, they consumed him. Somewhere between the ages of 13 and 23, he was fighting as a soldier, helicopter pilot, infantryman. Roman even jokes at one point that Niko drove a tank. A teenager, thrown into a brutal conflict, doing and witnessing things no person should ever have to. But there's one event that defines everything that happens later in the game. Niko was part of a unit of 15 men, guys he grew up with, guys from his hometown. They got ambushed. Only 3 walked away. Niko, a man named Florian, and a man named Darko. And Niko became convinced one of those 2 survivors sold the unit out, betrayed them for reasons unknown. He swore he'd track down whoever did it, not just for payback, but to finally close a chapter of his life that never stopped bleeding. After the war ended, life didn't get easier. Niko couldn't find steady work, so he slid into the European criminal underground for almost a decade. That path led to prison. After getting out, he ended up working for a human trafficking operation run by a man named Ray Bulgarin. During a smuggling job into Italy, the boat sank in the Adriatic. Everyone died except Niko, who swam to shore. And Bulgarin, convinced Niko sank the ship on purpose to steal his money, became an enemy Niko would spend years trying to outrun. So Niko joined the merchant navy just to disappear. 7 months later, he snuck into Liberty City on a cargo ship called the Platypus. Nothing but the clothes on his back and a promise from his cousin Roman that America was full of money, women, and opportunity. What he actually found was a cousin drowning in gambling debt, a rundown taxi depot, and loan sharks circling. And just like that, the story of GTA 4 begins. Here's what makes Niko genuinely one of Rockstar's best written characters. He's dealing with something close to a quarter-life crisis the entire game. He's guilt-ridden, detached from human life in a way that scares even him, yet fiercely loyal to Roman despite constantly bailing him out of trouble. He's cautious, business-minded, more grounded than nearly every unstable character he meets. Guys like Bruce Kibbutz or the walking chaos that is Bernie Crane. He also hates drugs, refuses weed from Little Jacob, warns people about cocaine, won't touch heroin deals if he can help it, though the game hints that might be more about avoiding a life sentence than any deep moral code. And Niko's take on America? Pretty skeptical. He sees a lot of it as shallow. He doesn't get why Roman is so obsessed with the American dream. He's not a fan of hardline conservative politicians either, calls them hypocrites, but he's not exactly liberal either. The war basically burned any faith he had in politics. Small detail that most players never notice. Niko will never hit a female pedestrian while carjacking. He pulls them out instead. Says a lot about a character most people just see as a killing machine. Now let's talk about the moment that changes everything. Niko finally tracks down Florian, except Florian's changed his name to Bernie Crane, come out as gay, and begs Niko for forgiveness, swearing that he wasn't the one who betrayed the unit, and Niko forgives him. Actually helps him rebuild his life. One of the few genuinely warm moments in the entire game. Then the other survivor, Darko, gets found. Smuggled straight into Liberty City by a shady government front called United Liberty Paper, or ULP, who've been blackmailing Niko into off-the-books jobs. When Niko finally confronts Darko, the truth comes out. He sold out the entire unit for the equivalent of $1,000 to feed a heroin habit. 15 men, $1,000. The game hands you the choice. Kill him or let him go. If you choose to kill him, Niko doesn't just shoot Darko once, he empties an entire clip. One bullet for every man who died in that ambush. This is where the story splits into two very different endings. If Niko chooses revenge over business, he goes after Dmitry Raskolov, hunting him down on the very same ship that brought Niko to America in the first place. He kills Dmitry, but the fallout is brutal. Jimmy Pecorino, furious at the betrayal, orders a drive-by at Roman's wedding meant for Niko. Instead, it kills Niko's girlfriend, Kate McCreary. Niko, Roman, and little Jacob track Pecorino down and end him on Happiness Island. Roman survives. Kate doesn't. If Niko instead chooses the deal, putting business over revenge, Roman is the one who dies instead. And here's the twist most players miss completely. Rockstar has gone on record saying there's no canon ending. Both paths are equally real, which makes what comes next even more interesting. Fast forward to 2013 and GTA 5. Lester Crest casually mentions to Michael that he once knew an Eastern European guy pulling off big moves in Liberty City, but he went quiet years ago. If you take Packy McCreary on a heist mission instead, he brings up Niko directly, saying he's probably dead by now, no idea what happened to him. But here's the Easter egg most people never find. After the mission, reuniting the family, if you zoom into Jimmy DeSantis' laptop while he's supposedly working on his resume, there's a Life Invader profile. Niko Bellic, still living in Broker, still driving for Bellic cab service, still in touch with Mallory, little Jacob, and Brucey. There's even a birthday message for Roman on there, which is a big deal, because that only makes sense in the ending where Roman actually survives. There's also a wanted poster for Niko, tucked away near a house in Sandy Shores, a nod straight back to GTA 4's marketing, and it doesn't stop in GTA 5. In 2017's Doomsday Heist update, Lester name drops Niko again in a conversation about an old ULP contact. Then, in 2022's Criminal Enterprises update, an ULP-linked agent directly references a former operative, using nearly the exact same farewell speech Niko got at the end of his own dealings with the agency years earlier, which means Niko didn't just disappear. He got out clean. Whatever version of Niko you played, the one who chose revenge, or the one who chose peace, Rockstar left just enough breadcrumbs to say he made it out of that life in one piece. A war orphan turned soldier, turned smuggler, turned hitman, who somehow, finally, got to walk away. If there's a Niko or Liberty City detail you know that I didn't cover here, drop it below. I'll be reading every one.